Hey friends, I made some delicious, creamy garlic chicken for supper, and I'm going to show you how I did it. I started with 2 large chicken breasts, and now I cut these into about 3 or 4 inch pieces, and we want to pound those flat. We want every piece to be about the same thickness. You know how chicken is kind of thick on one side and thinner on the other? That's why we're doing this, so they're all the same thickness. You can certainly use a mallet, but I just used my rolling pin because it worked just fine. Now we're going to head on over to the stove, and on medium-high heat, we're going to put in a pan 1 tablespoon of olive oil and then 1 tablespoon of butter. And now this is called creamy garlic chicken, so of course we got to load up on the garlic. I love this stuff from Trader Joe's. Each one of these cubes is the equivalent to 1 clove of garlic. So I'm going to pop out 3 cloves of garlic. You could use fresh, you could use garlic in a jar, whatever you'd like to use, but just use a lot. And now we're going to add our chicken to the pan, and basically what we want to do here is just brown it on both sides. So once it's in there, we're going to give it a little bit of seasoning. So we're going to start with some salt and some pepper and a little bit of Italian seasoning. And now I love to cook with this Weiler's chicken bouillon powder. If you have not tried this, you've got to try it. I love it for soups, just so many different things. So we're going to sprinkle a little bit on there. Now it is salty, so be careful with it. And then we're going to let those cook a little bit because, again, we're just going to brown them on both sides. Once they're brown on one side, we're going to turn them over. And now I just got these new tongs from Pampered Chef. This is only the second time I've used them, and I really like them. The ends, those little plastic ends, are heat resistant, and they have a real nice spring or bounce back to them. And then also they're a little bit longer, so then you don't have to have your hands so close to the heat. So I really like these. Again, it's only the second time I used them, but I liked them. So once you have all those flipped over, we hadn't seasoned this side, so let's go ahead and season it with the same seasonings. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of Italian seasoning. And let those get nice and brown on the other side. Now, once they are brown, we're actually going to remove them from the pan. So take them all out, and I just set them on a cutting board. And while those were cooking, I had diced up an onion. So we're going to put the onion now in this pan. And basically, we just want that onion to get nice and soft. Not necessarily translucent, but nice and soft before we add the chicken back in. We're going to add about 2 or 3 tablespoons of water to this to just help that onion so it doesn't burn. A little bit more of the chicken bouillon. You can certainly use chicken stock or chicken broth at this point instead, but I love that Weiler's chicken powder. A little bit more pepper, some more Italian seasoning. Stir that together. Now, as our onions are starting to get soft, we're going to add in this nice, rich, heavy whipping cream, about 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup. That's what really makes this creamy garlic chicken. It gives it such a nice, rich flavor. And then once you have that stirred together, it's time to add that chicken back in. By the time you get this chicken added back in, your broth will already be kind of simmering already. And what we want to do is let that chicken simmer in there for about 8 minutes. That'll thoroughly cook this chicken and really let those flavors meld together. I do like to take the lid off about halfway through and just spoon that over the chicken so all those good garlicky onion, chickeny broth flavors get into every one of those little crevices on the chicken and just make all those flavors meld together. Then we're going to put that back on, and then after 8 minutes, there it is. It's all done. Creamy garlic chicken. Now we serve this over rice, and I'm going to tell you the rice I love, this jasmine broken rice. You can probably find it at a store near you, but we do order ours off Amazon. If you have any issues with eating rice, this is great. And if you look at it, it makes it such a perfect sticky rice, and with these tiny, tiny little granules, you've got to try it. We love it here. Now, I'm about to put the recipe up on the screen, so if you want to screenshot it, get ready. This will be the recipe on how to make creamy garlic chicken. Again, we served it over rice, and when you put this on your plate, there's not a lot of the creamy, but you don't need a lot because it's such a very strong garlic flavor. You just need a little bit of that cream sauce on your rice or potatoes or noodles, whatever you're serving this with, because it's such a good, strong, rich flavor. And then serve it with your favorite vegetable, and there is a perfect supper. We had it with some asparagus, and there you go, creamy garlic chicken. It is delicious and tender and moist. Try it tonight.